So we're having essentially a conversation. When I move slow, move my leg. And then she's going to give me a warning like that. That is too fast, so I stop. So I'm going to move it the other way. She hear that? So I stop. I'll go as far as she lets me. I'm not paying attention to her. Her want for my speed or what. You hear it? So I'm moving. She doesn't like it, so I stop. With intervals that are longer than this. I just don't want to make you wait forever. So I'm moving. Hear the puff? Stop. And then what happens with these guys over time is, well, you have to increase the speed and the proximity. The proximity is not an issue. You can put your hand right on their head as long as you go very, very slow. They really don't care. If you do it anything other than that, you'll get bitten. Things will be terrible. The truth is, as long as you go slow and listen, your proximity doesn't matter. It's your speed that matters. It's a conversation. It's essentially a conversation. She's telling me to stop or go slower. Listen. So I stop. And she now knows I'll stop. That's why she's doing it. Otherwise, she would just be striking. See? I move. And I listen. Then I stop. Move. She puffs. Stop. This is the beginning. It takes a lot of patience. It's not an exciting process, but to me, to the average viewer, if you're getting into hots, it's very exciting because this will allow you to handle them well. By that I mean they won't come flying out as they usually do. That's you imposing your speed on them, or flickering your fingers or whatever. Anything but very slow motions, almost like a mime, are gonna make it move fast and be scared and to strike and to hood up. Those are things that are completely negative. I know people like to have them hood up because it looks cool. To me, what I see is an animal that's terrified. So I don't think that's cool. I think her being comfortable and happy and interactive, to me, that's cool. So move the foot. She breathed. I stop. It's like what's called a puff. I move my leg. Puff. I stop. She knows. Move the leg back. Puff. I stop. That's the process. You start with an arm, a leg. I just happen to have a leg there. And, I'll crawl, go slow. It's a funny thing. People make fun of you. Good. I'm glad. I like when they do that. Let them get bit. But you be safe. Move nice and slow. The reason you'll be safe is because you're taking into consideration the snake's need, not just yours. If you move fast, I don't want to do it. But if I move fast, she would strike the cage. That's what she was doing when she first got here. She was so scared. But now, I can put my hand or foot right on the cage, and she doesn't care. It's not proximity. It doesn't matter how close you are. It's a funny thing, right? You wouldn't think. This obviously is not true of all animals, but with them it is true. You can go very close if you go very slow. And of course, you should never do that if you can get even a little bit scared, because you could very likely die. But if you really know it to be true, not just believe it, if you really know it, then you'd be fine, because you can come very close, and they don't understand glass. This would be the same thing without the glass. Damn flies piss me off. So it's not getting closer. It's controlling the speed. See? Being closer doesn't bother her at all. If you would go fast in any direction, well, that would upset her very much. This is a very important first step. I hope people try to put it into practice. It's not just a theory. It works every time with every snake. It's just that you're going to have to move slower than you're used to. It's going to be uncomfortable for you. But in my opinion, that's better than it being uncomfortable for your snake, because now you have a snake that's calm as opposed to moving fast, and now having a snake that's moving fast that you can't control. So the standard way of doing it, moving the hook in there fast and just scooping them up, and then they move really fast, and people say, oh, look how fast they move, this snake is crazy. No. You are moving fast. They will never attack, but they also want to initiate fast motion. That's you. Think about it. When do they really start to, what people say, go nuts? When you take them out. But how are you taking them out? Are you doing it really slow, taking like maybe even a minute or two to take them out at their speed? Well, let's be honest, never. So this is the process, and I guarantee I'll videotape it later, maybe tomorrow. I could take her out at the same speed that I'm moving now, and she'll be just fine with it. I know, because I've done it already. Now listen, watch. Move. No puff. Okay, so just giving me some leeway. I know it's hard to see my leg. She puffs, I stop. So that was a bit much for her. Tiny, tiny little increments, but there's been tremendous progress. Tiny, stop. So you have to really sort of control yourself, not the snake. Control you. So you're moving slow. And then the snake will be very relaxed and move as it would if you weren't there at all and it was in just a regular, peaceful, placid state. So if you want to do it in a way that's going to be harder for you at first, but much easier later, well, this would be the way to do it. I know people hate when I freehold, but, it's not something that I do lightly. But if you do it like this, I do this mostly with the babies that I have. I like to get them as babies. And I start them like this, and they get used to it. And then there comes a point where it's safer, in my opinion, than using a hook with certain with certain snakes in certain instances. But notice here, this very, very nervous snake has not hooked up once. And please believe me, she's extremely reactive. What are they reacting to? Us. So if we move fast and that snake strikes, no, that's not a crazy snake. That's poor movement on your part. So change your movement, they'll change their behavior. They just give what they get. They can't possibly be expected to understand how arms and legs move. It's terrifying, especially for one as sensitive as Peaches. So we go on. Thank you for watching and listening.